Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Aries. So today is this very special day for you because we have the sun and a solar eclipse on top of that and the new moon both in your sign. And it means that no sign is interfering here. You're doing all of this yourself. The darkness is going in front of the light that you are, the I, the emperor, the I am beginning the sun year. I begin the spring. I begin all this. I want to go out from the dark into the light. And we recognize, of course, when we see a special moment like this happens today, that we really need to listen to the messages. We really need to see what is talking, how is it talking, because you're the emperor. You are leaning on the ankh. You holding the world in your left hand. So intuitive, you know that you are the master that can create out of the four elements anything that you want to create. You begin this year, and so now that the sun and the moon are both in your sign, you are alone on stage, and the stage is the universe or the world, and everybody's looking at you, is looking at the sun, how the moon is moving in front of it and creates the solar eclipse. And this moment happens for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't know exactly how long it takes, but it's like it goes in front and you see the corona, right? You see the crown. And then in that crown, you see then how it's moving and you see the diamond ring. And then, of course, again, you see the sun appearing. And that moment is short, but it's significant, it's important, and everybody is talking about it. So here you are, all alone, by yourself, with sun and moon, and this moment doesn't only exist once a year, this moment exists only once in your lifetime. So you are ruled by Mars, and Mars is taking action. When you see the solar eclipse, particularly in America and North America, Canada, it's visible, but the rest of the world is feeling it as well. So recognize that you are the emperor, recognize that you do not need to execute your strength, execute that force that you have deep within you, because you're the pioneer, you're the leader, you're someone that says, well, let's go, we follow you, Moses, right? You see how he's standing there and his head is a little up. The yoga position for Aries is the meditation, because Aries body part is the brain, is the head, and the only way to access that is through meditation. When we look deep within in all four directions, we recognize that I'm the fifth element or the fifth direction, which is the center. And there you have the third eye, the inner eye that sees and knows everything. So the meditation in yoga is really good for you, right? So that's just to your major arcana, which is the number 4. Here in this deck, the Ethereal Vision Tarot, I have listed all the decks that I'm using here down below, and also the dates and what the position means. You are the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is very secure, very creative, very strong. Is your birthday between March 12th and April 9th, right? Then this is your court card. If not, please look in the description below. I have listed all of them there. So you are the first house of self, of identity, and you use the meditation, and you see how here the star is in the center of her heart. Use your heart, use your knowledge of uniting masculine and feminine, water and fire, to be creative and inspire others to be creative as well. You are then, as the Aries, the fighter. You fight, you go with your head through the wall. And so just become aware that sometimes it's important that you cool off before you say something, or before you just act like that burst, right? that comes out of you. And so keep your cool, right? Which is not, of course, easy, but we can learn that. Now back to your last reading where you had Pisces Sun and Aries Moon, because everything is cyclical, and that was one round, 1 month, and now we have a new round, right? And the message there was, say with confidence, I walk the talk of love. And so Pisces has inspired you in both directions, because you had the Knight of Cups to the right and the Knight of Cups to the left. And it was really powerful, because it's something, you know, that I rarely see, that twice the Knight of Cups is coming. And so the Piscean energy has affected you very much back then, right? And that's why with confidence you can say, I walk the talk of love. I'm not just talking about love, I'm walking it. I'm taking action upon it. The Tower. The Tower is Mars. And so this month we're going to look in every reading into what Mars is wanting to say, what Mars is giving you to let go, because Mars, or basically the Tower, is a crisis, is a realization that something needs to go and something is not working anymore. And you see how he is falling. And so here I'm going to pick a card out of the Animal Spirit Oracle, just that you see it. It's a very beautiful black and white deck, and we're gonna see what the Tower, or what kind of animal the Tower is bringing to you. You are, of course, already an animal. You are Aries, right? And you are strong, but maybe you want or need some help, and we're gonna look. Okay, that was unexpected. It's really funny. The rabbit. So here you see it's an earth sign, the triangle's pointing down, and we see the similar colors from the Tower, and here of course the cape. He's falling and falling, and there is the rabbit standing and looking to the right, because now this is your last reading to the left. This is to the new moon, right, human, extroverted, full moon. And you always see it on the arrow that I place, so that you see, we're going to the left, and this is your last reading to the left. After this, you go out. After this, you've done the work to look deep within. What is it that you are looking out into the world, and what you need to let go of? Now here we have the Roman number. We have the 10, the 5, and the 1. The 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, the 5 is the Hierophant, or the High Priest, and the 1 is the Magician. Calculated all together, we get the 7. And the 7 is the emotional intelligence that we need to understand where you're looking at. What is it that you need to do in the outer world right now, while everything is actually focused on the inner world? And the rabbit is coming and letting you know, afraid of everything, overwhelmed and frozen. The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future. And we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words, oh rabbit, they shape your destiny. When in balance, then you are sensitive and a problem solver and a good listener. of course, when out of balance, over explains and talks fast. And to bring into balance, a day of silence. Wow, a whole day. There we go. Today is a day of silence for you. Look at what you're afraid of. Look at what you're talking about, because your words create the reality. And that's why I walk the talk of love. And so the emotional intelligence is left to know that you don't need to be afraid of. And as such, we begin now the reading. On the position of the fool, the foolish idea, comes here the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is letting you know that there is courage in you. There is an enormous strength in you, because this is the constellation Mars in Leo. And of course, Mars has brought you the rabbit, and the rabbit is looking out to the right, is afraid of maybe going out again, because you got used to go inwards, you got used to look deep within, and now this moment has arrived. And what's happening? The moon is going in front of the sun and is creating a solar eclipse, right? And you do it. No one is doing it, right? To you. And so the fool is saying, well, then go deep down, take that courage, walk and take that step to the left and see what's coming, because the fool is connected with Uranus, and Uranus is letting you know, hey, this is the revolution. Revolution, we can talk about it, nothing happens. Revolutions are done. And you are wands, right? You are the wand energy, because you are the queen of wands. And so here you have 7 wands. And the 7, guess what, is the emotional intelligence to act upon what you're afraid of. On the position of the magician, which is then the person that, or that part in you that is acting upon that crazy idea to start a revolution, comes the wind. And the wind is a mental energy, and it's the 63, and 63, and 6 is Gemini, the lovers, and 3 is the Empress, and the Empress is the feminine aspect of the Emperor. Calculated together, we get the 9, and the 1 of the magician is the 10. So here we are recognizing a new cycle can then go to an end, because the 10 is the new one. And it's that one action that breaks through the pattern of the 6. And of course, the emotional intelligence is giving you a clarity here, that you see clearly that after these 2 hours, it's only 2 hours long, where the new moon is in the new where the new moon is 0%, right? And the solar eclipse lasts maybe 2-3 minutes, and then it shifts already. So this moment is happening really quick, and you better use it, and you better create that moment for you, like a ceremony, because the magician is Mercury, and is bringing you the information that it's gonna happen really fast. But there is a completion. There is then a real feeling of like, I did it, I arrive, right? And so I want to know what comes here, and here comes Pisces. And Pisces back then came twice, right? To the right and to the left, on the position of the Fool and on the position of the High Priestess. And now you get Pisces again here for the Magician. And so Pisces energy, say with confidence, I walk the talk of love, is facing the 7, have the courage to act upon the love that you hopefully have by looking outwards. And even though you're frozen sometimes because you feel like the rabbit is actually looking at the tower and he's like, oh my God, this is what's gonna happen when I go out there. Yep, but you gain the emotional intelligence. So here comes Pisces, the 12th zodiac sign of art and spirituality. And so the 12 here is the Wheel of Fortune and the High Priestess calculates together the 3. And we had here the 10. The 10 and the 3 creates the 13, which is the biggest transformation, and that is death. A death of the old you after the solar eclipse, right? That the moon is going in front of the sun and saying, well, you better look one more time deep into your subconscious, because there are things that you need to look at. And it's in the outer world that you're looking at that. And so here Pisces is playing the flute and is this loving and caring energy. And it's saying, well, yeah, you're going deep within to the left, but outwards you walk the talk of love. You're taking action. You're taking the courage to do that. And you are. Then on the position of the High Priestess comes the Hermit, comes Virgo. And so we had a 9 here, right? A 9-9 portal. Then you find something deep within, and look, now he's not facing the left anymore, he's facing the right. He is clear in the way he is now able to bring the wisdom out to the world, bring the wisdom to the people. And so the 9 and the 2 creates an 11. The inner teacher appears. You are, through the moon that is in your sign, inspired to listen to your intuition, inspired to find the wisdom deep within. And then the 11, a portal appears, and that's powerful, because the 11 is the inner teacher, is the wisdom, is that strength that we gain when we really go for something that is worth it. And the Hermit knows what he goes after is worth it, because it's, you know, twice the 9 now here, and it's like the creativity in knowing who I am is endless, right? Then on the position of the Empress, here comes Capricorn, the devil, the attachment or the cutoff, the source. And so the 15 plus the 3 of the Empress is the 18, is the moon. And the moon is actually creating, right, to your ego a push, right? The moon going in front of the sun, it's like, okay, don't do that. But the moon does it. And there is then the ability to look deeper into where you're still attached in your social status, in your career, in this outwardly financial security, the 4, the world, the 4 elements. And of course the 18 then calculated together is the 9. Here you have 3 times the 9. A 999 portal. And then you empower yourself by knowing who you are. Then you are not afraid anymore. Then you are looking into the tower and you're like, okay, I'm taking that as a sign, because I get emotional intelligence out of it. So we also have the 15 calculated together, the 6, and the 6 and the 3 here, as you can see, is exactly the 63 that has come here with the wind. And so have a look at the signs, have a look at what's talking, how is it talking, right, through whom it's talking. And that's why we're doing the reading, right, the way we are doing it. Then on the position of the Aries energy through the sun comes the High Priestess, right? And so yes, she was just here with the Hermit giving you the portal, but when I shuffle at the beginning to get the cards, I have all the cards together, right? And then after I take out the positions that I'm using, and here you have now the 2 and the 4, which is the 6. And the sun is coming, look at that, right? And so see that you recognize now the self-love, the 6, that when we calculate the 10, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 5, the Hierophant, or the 5 senses together, the 1, the third eye, where the star is, where we always see our attachment, right? Then you actually have a 6-6 here. And a 6-6 portal is indicating that you are understanding the creativity in self-love and how beautiful it can feel when you love yourself and when you listen to your intuition, particularly as an Aries, right? Sometimes you might be like, oh no, my mind knows exactly what it wants, but we have duality, it's a law. And if you cannot play with it, then you're always attached and stuck with it. And that's what's happening here. That's why we have here 2 people, red and green. And he is right in the center. So Aries brought you here the High Priestess, and through that the 6 portal, but particularly the 6, where you find self-love in your intuition. Then on the position of the Queen of Wands, which is the center of the reading, right? This is you as a court card. This is you as a person, comes the World. So the World, which will come at the end, is here letting you know, well, you, the first house of self and identity, and now the World here, the 21, which is the 20, the last judgment, the calling. It's your calling to help the world to liberate itself, right? Because the 1 here is the Magician. And so in a way you're a magic woman as well. That's why you have the wand here and the cat. You're the witch or the witcher. And so the 3 and the 1 is the 4. Then you appear here. Then you come up. But the 21 plus the 1 is the 22. I can also calculate it together like this. The 22, guess what, is the Fool, is the 7 of Wands, is the courage that you took to say, yes, I am not afraid of the Tower of Mars. That's my planet. That's a planet that is teaching me again and again to be fearless, to go out there. Yes, I fell, but when I fall, I know I can also spread my wings and fly, and I don't have to be frozen, fearful of the future. I know deep within me I have the help of the High Priestess, I have the help of the World, and I know I can do this, right? Very powerful, very beautiful already, this reading. And so the 4 is appearing, you are appearing, the Emperor is appearing, and is ruling the world right now, because everybody's talking about this event right now up in the sky. Then on the position of the Emperor through the Moon, now guess what, here you get the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles is the new money, is new money that we can make through this new state of consciousness that we can achieve. And you see the 2 hands holding the coin, and the 4 and the 1 is a 5, and the 5 is the Hierophant, and the 5 is also in the Tower, right? We have here the Hierophant, Taurus, maybe as a court card you already into the King of Pentacles, who knows, right? Always look, I have the dates there. And the Queen of Wands is from March 12th to April 9th, right? Just that you know, she is in between that frame, and of course it's overlapping, so it could be you have the King of Pentacles as a court card, and so here you have the number 5, the Hierophant, talking to you, the banks, the finances, the new money that is ruling the world and is inevitable, and we need to follow that. We need to follow where the love brings us and the money follows us, right? And so now we're going to the left, and the world is seeing, well, we got to take care of the finances because something is shifting here. Then on the position of the Moon, as the dream oracle, as the subconscious, we have here the Garden of Venus, the number 25, rest and renewal. Now, of course, we have the 5 and the 2. So here we have the 20 again, the Last Judgment, and the 5, the Hierophant. And remember, the Hierophant came as the understanding here, the banks are renewing the way they look at money. And so in our subconscious, we feel that, or you feel that particularly in your subconscious, because it's through the moon. So here we get, of course, it's your calling to look after the money, the pentagram, the 5. And so calculate together, we get the 7. And again, we have the 7 through the Tower, the emotional intelligence that we need to not be afraid when things fall apart, particularly also maybe financially, right? Because there's always money to be made. You just have to innovate and invent yourself. And so the 9 and the 7 is the 16 again. The Tower is saying, well, let go, because it's divinely orchestrated. Venus is connected, of course, with the Empress, and there we had the Devil, Capricorn, which is also connected here with the money, the pentagram, the 5-pointed star here on his third eye. So see what's talking, and again, the 7, of course, here is left, right? Just understand that. So you are able to rest and renew yourself and know exactly what you can do with this money. But I wanted to know what is bringing this card, because it's an oracle card and it's the 4 of Cups reversed. And so the 4 of Cups is moon in Cancer. When the moon is in Cancer, maybe there's a message for you, particularly in the matter of here, the Garden of Venus. That could be a relationship, right? Venus is beauty and love and also money. And when they hold up the money like this, it's always like the sun. And so moon in Cancer is saying, well, heal yourself, because then the 7 plus the 4 is again an 11. And the 11 is the inner teacher. The 11 is again the one that is bringing us the emotional wisdom from deep within. And so here that you see that she is standing at the ocean where the river meets the ocean, and she is actually fighting something here. But because it's reversed, it's saying she's letting go of that fight. She's letting go, and she's flowing with the river into herself, into the soul, into the new moon. And the ocean is here now. Otherwise, it's this way, right? It's to the right, it's out, right? And so here, in a way, she's like to the left. And so she's actually flowing. She's going with the flow after she's been here in the Garden of Venus. And so it's very beautiful to see that. And so the 11 as the wisdom that is coming, and the inner teacher creates then with this one a 1-1-1 portal. 3 times 1, it's letting you know the Empress, right, is giving you an understanding to not get attached to things like this, is letting you know that there is always a completion, there is always a way of liberating yourself, and this is exactly what's coming to you right now. So 3 times the 1, right? Really beautiful. Learn and understand that sometimes letting go is actually a good thing, and then you can flow and continue your path to the left, because now on the position of the sun we get her, the voice, the number 25. Then you have a 25-25 portal. Again, we have a 7 here. We have the Last Judgment, the 20, which is, by the way, connected with Pluto, and Pluto is going into Aquarius. And so Pluto, 20 years in Aquarius is quite intense, and that's why the 20 year is really of big significance. And so the sun, the 19 is the 10 and the 7 is the star. And guess what? The sun is a dwarf star. And so the star, it is getting covered by the moon, by the subconscious. And so the star, then the 17 turns into an 8. And the 8 is saying, well, then you find your strength, a real strength. But so far, you have now a 777 portal, 3 times 7, again, the empowerment in knowing that you have the crown chakra, that you are a king or a queen, right? Because you could be a feminine king or masculine king. And so you know something is talking here very mysteriously, and now she is actually literally then looking in this way. Meanwhile, we know that the rabbit also looked that way, and it's almost like she's behind the rabbit. It's like, yes, you can do this. You don't have to be afraid of the tower. The tower is your element. It's Mars. Accept it, right? Use it, because we have the star coming here, and the star again is Aquarius, is actually the new age where Pluto is residing for 20 years in the end of November, and we had the 11, right? The November is the 11th month. And so notice the signs, right? That at the end of November, you're gonna feel when Pluto is in Aquarius, because I wanted to see what is being said here through the voice and speaking your word, right? And the shaman of voices is coming, and that's the King of Swords. That's Aquarius. Look at this. This is powerful. So after resting here and renewing and understanding this 7, another 7 came, the emotional intelligence, right? You know that the emotional intelligence can go in both directions. And so, but the emotional intelligence is built inside. And so it's really important that you're arriving now here through this event that is happening today in your sign, in the sun and in the new moon. And so look at this. Here comes Aquarius. And you had here now the 17, the star. And this is the 11th zodiac sign of community and technology. I mean, this is so strong. The message is so strong, and it's clear, and it's like, yes. And remember, you had also here the 11, right? In the garden with the 4 of cups. Sometimes you feel like you're a little stuck, you're a little bored in the way things unfolding in your love relationship. But you are going to recognize also that things need to sometimes get boring so that you can push yourself to do something. And you see the wind, and we had the wind, and now we have here the trumpet, we have here the voice, and the voice can only be heard if there's wind. It can be carried out. Wow, right? And so here the wind is blowing. Look at that. We have a blue, a red, an orange, and red, and it's like the word is going out, but you find the word deep within, and you can bring it to the people. And so we have here, right, the 10 and the 7, the star, and then the 8 and the 11 could be a date, the 8th of November or the 11th of August, right? And so August is the summer, August is Leo, and we had Leo here by using the 7 of Wands, right? We had here Mars in Leo, and so that's when maybe things are being pushed, right, in the right direction. And we see that the message is very strong and clear, because now you're going to see, it's crazy, comes on the position of the world, which came for the Queen of Wands. Look at this. I'm not kidding. This came up and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is the solar eclipse. The moon is moving in front of the sun, and this is the 8 of cups, right? And you had 4 cups, so there are 12 cups. Guess what? You had the 12th zodiac sign Pisces, right? Back then, say with confidence, I walk the talk of love. The 12 is then the Hanged Man as well. It's the pre-stage for a big transformation. You will feel a big transformation. The whole world feels this big transformation, because a solar eclipse is not something that happens often, right? I think the last one was 7 years ago, and a full solar eclipse. And so here you have the 8 plus the 21 is the 29, which creates an 11. But I also can calculate, of course, the 21 into a 3. The 3 and the 8 is then again also an 11. The 11 stays. The 11 is the portal. The 11 is saying Saturn in Pisces, and the world is Saturn, and the world came up on the Queen of Wands. Recognize who you are. Recognize that you are walking then back out again. That's why you already have her with the trumpet going out, the voice. People will listen to you, what you have experienced here, because everybody's experiencing it. And she's walking out again, not to the left. After this event, which lasts 3, 4, maybe max 5 minutes, and the new moon 2 hours, it's already going out. And so the sign is here. And so now we close the reading. We see the rabbit looking at her. And yes, he was frozen for a moment, but he's also recognizing this is important. This, because the tower is bringing the emotional intelligence. And when you have the emotional intelligence from this event, the 7, then you can go into the 8 and go out again and see the emotional intelligence that the star is bringing you. Remember here that Aquarius is bringing you here, right? The 17 and the 11 and the 17 that turns into the 8 and the 11th zodiac sign. The date here, it's almost like this event is leading you to this date. It's crazy. It's so amazing and so important to look at it. Important to see that, yes, sometimes we're frozen, but it's good. Maybe in that frozenness you recognize something, and then you continue your path, and you are understanding that you thought it was scary, right, to fall. But when we fall, we just get up, put our crown back on, and we continue to walk out like nothing happened. What a cool reading. Love it. I hope I see you in the next one, because that's when we get the sun in Taurus. And I hope you are doing a ceremony. It's very clear everybody is going to look at this, particularly in America and Canada, where the full eclipse is happening. And so until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.